Hello everybody, I'm here playing on some Minecraft. This world is a new world I just generated on the Just Create SMP pack. No idea what the seed is. I mean, I guess I can do this. There you go, there's a seed, if you're curious. The seed is nothing special, like I said, I just generated it. I spawned here in this place. And I'm just going to try to collect a bunch of the different saplings and stuff and find a good place to settle down. I am on the updated version of this pack where we are in 1.21, so we can find stuff such as firefly bushes, pale oak forests, all that good stuff. Firefly bushes! This is actually the first time I've actually seen it in Minecraft, like actually playing. It is certainly a bush. It is cool though to have some variety for building. Now, abandoned nether portals are actually like quite good to find early on. With the create mod, if we look at the magma block usages, we can wash magma blocks into obsidian. A village. A village means a bed, which means that we can sleep and get to the next day. Free iron. And this guy had quite a bit of good stuff. The weapons smith here, the smithy. I have just come across another spruce forest here, and I realized that there were ferns. And ferns are actually quite useful in Create because you can mill them to get green dye, and then green dye with white dye can give you lime dye, and lime dye with dough, which is wheat, which we just gathered 37 hay bales, equals slime balls, which is very useful for making contraptions, because you need glue for contraptions. So I am making an early shears with my iron. My very first iron tool is shears. And I'm going to grab way more ferns than I need. They work as a decoration as well. Azalea trees. Well, this is news to me. Didn't realize they just spawned, like, out in the world. But yeah, I hit a bunch of dead ends, and, like, my only option was to, like, go backwards in order to find a decent way to travel. Also, I think it's nighttime, but I turned my brightness up to 1,000. There's, like, 3 villages around here, and some cherry trees. Yes, this area down here looks much more suitable to me to settle down in now. How much space do we actually have? I'm just going to do a little... They have the free cam mod in here. Oh, wow. Okay. But it does help a lot because now I can see that this is a nice big open area. It's just a lot harder to see this before you get an elytra. Where am I even at right now? Down there. Hello me. Yeah, I think we settle in on this island here. Yes. Maybe make a little starter house over here though. Yes. This is getting a little too cheaty. This is a little far away, but I think that's another village. Yes, it is another village. Vroom. Alright, so I just got my stuff laid out here. This guy's empty, I believe, so we can end him away. But I am just going to take a little bit of time to clean up this area a little bit and figure out how I want to do some early crop farms. So 3 more iron went into a water bucket so that we can get that going. Alright, so yeah, a decent looking farm, and it's not the best, really. But honestly, it's just super slow with all these stone tools, and I'm ready to move on to some progression. And I'm happy just that I put a little bit more effort into it with the scarecrows and a little bit of stony walls that have kind of broken down is kind of my idea there. Um, and adding bits of dirt that obviously couldn't be farmed because it's too gravelly or whatever with the coarse dirt. And yeah, just putting a little bit more into it than just doing a 9x9 with water in the middle. Yeah, that makes me happy. And just having a little something. Now let's see what you have to offer, good sir. Really? Nothing that I need. Now I'm going to quickly put together some farms for both sheepies and cows. Don't really have a need for pigs. And then after all that effort making those farms, I then make a little tiny guy for these. It's just ironic. Oh, hi there, Derpstone Cave. Hi, Iron. Diamonds! Alrighty, so now that we've got some iron, more cooking still, but we have a decent amount of iron here. We also gathered some andesite. We have 4 and a bit stacks of andesite. Pretty good, pretty good. But what we can do, we can make our first andesite alloy, our first piece of create. To start with, we need 2 andesite alloy. Andesite casing. I always do that where I say alloy, what I mean the casing. Alright, we're gonna need a basin. We're gonna need the press, which means we need some shafts, which means we need this like that. Mechanical press. We need a hand crank, which means we're gonna need more alloy. Hand crank, very easy, very easy. Actually, we wouldn't need to do a hand crank. If we're gonna use an andesite alloy, we might as well make a water wheel, right? Right. Okay, I didn't need to make that much wood, but large water wheel. Let's gear it up some. I don't feel bad about wasting a little bit of andesite alloy yet. Alright, over here, I think let's put our water wheel in. So if I put water here, 1, 2, 3. I think that's right. Nope, 1 lower. There we go. There we go. Now we have power, and we have this, and we even have an andesite casing still, because we're going to use that to make a mixer. But we can put a large cog, followed by a small cog, followed by a large cog, followed by casing those things up. And we got it up to this power, which we'll do for now. We want to put our press on here. For now, I'm just going to do a block, and we need 5 sheets. That's actually slower than I even thought it would be. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to instantly destroy everything we've just created here. Or maybe not everything, but to here at least. Put that like that. You'll see why in a second. Just trust me. Because we need whisk. Then we need this. Then we need a small cog. And we have the mechanical mixer. Now we can't tell it to place at an angle like you can with small cogs. So place a block, then do that. Then do our basin underneath. This guy's really high up, but I think, well, Maybe I just have to dig them into the ground if I did the other way. Gonna need to sleep soon. Because I could do this to do my mixer. I think I would rather have it in the ground than up here. And once you do that, you can then grab iron nuggets, throw them on the floor, throw them in there actually. And so we don't meet the speed requirements. That's actually crazy. Okay, so we need more large cogs, more small cogs, and doing the inside casing on this as you're speeding it up is not required. It just makes it more compact, and that is why I'm doing it. So actually our mixer ended up at a better place. And now we should hopefully be able to drop this and this in. And it will make andesite alloy just like that, which is great. Before it even gets too far along, I'm going to go ahead and pull some because I want a few things. You know what? Actually, while that's going, clear out my inventory a bit. 0 chest organization so far. Don't worry about it. We'll get there. But I'm going to go look for kelp because we haven't found any yet. And after quite a bit of traveling, if I'm honest, I found some kelp. And I also got a bucket of lava while I was out here, which will be very nice. I've made it back, and I am going to go ahead and plant some kelp. This is not a permanent place for you, just a place so that I can have some. I think I'm planning like 40, so this should be plenty. Okay, but now we can smelt up some kelp, and we have some andesite alloy. I would like to make a saw, which we need 3 iron sheets for. And we also took down the press. So give me a press. Also give me a depot with a casing and an alloy. It is possible that we will need more water wheels. Oh, but that does overstress it. So for now, I'm just going to disconnect this guy. Stick in our press back here. Give him a depot. And we needed 3 for the saw. And we're going to want 2 saws. Wow, this is slow. But while the first saw is up and coming, get some more andesite casing, which I now feel free to get more of than I was before. Because we have more andesite ready to go. But this lets us get our first saw. And we'll want a hand crank to pair with that. But what I really want to do with this saw is once again remove all of this. Let's shoot for max speed here. Until we get precision mechanisms, clean out my inventory. Which means making more chests. And the other thing that we need is our first andesite funnels. I don't think this area over here is going to stay my production area, I suppose you could call it. Got rid of all the andesite casings I had. There they are. Let's grab some of this create stuff back. That's max speed. But we're going to put a saw on it. Do I really have to make a wrench just to set this up? I don't know. Any one of you guys would really work, but... And then we need some gold, which I started smelting. So we have gold. 3... Wait, let me make sure it's not brass. Please don't be brass. Okay, yeah. 3 gold sheets for that, and then 1 for the goggles. Okay, so the wrench is as simple as this. 3 gold sheets, a cogwheel, and a stick. And then with the 2 glass, we can also make the engineer's goggles, which can go in my curio slot for my head. So those never have to leave my head. Very nice. So yes, this uses 256 here. No longer need it. So nice that we can now break things like that. Some more water wheels. I already prepped the area. We have the space to just get more as you. Perfect. 512 each. And then we can put the saw here. Not that this needs to be at max speed. But then we are going to set you to do shafts. I need some inventory, so let's make some barrels really quick. And let's splurge here. I got a stone cutter, and with the stone cutter, we can make some andesite scaffolding, which just looks real nice with some of these machines. That will work technically, but this one is actually going to need to be up here. So this one, I think we can do andesite funnel like this. We'll have to see. I don't know about that. And then we can do an andesite funnel coming out of here. And now if we want some shafts, we can put this in here. Oh, it's going the wrong way. I set it up backwards. But let's set this guy up for being that. And then let's run a shaft through and kind of watch. It pops up a bit. It might work. But where does it fall to? Okay, it falls like clear down here. So we can even put the barrel down here. Like this. And that should catch it. Yep. So I'm going to have this as a little shaft machine because then 1 andesite alloy makes 6 shafts versus 2 andesite alloy making 8. And this is using 1000 SU, which is 2 of our water wheels. So yeah, we're going to outgrow water wheels kind of quick. But then we wanted another saw as well as a hand crank to be able to chop down trees quickly. And the wrench actually makes this even better. Because yes, the saw will chop down trees quite quickly, which is very nice. And I think with that stuff set up, I think I can start doing some material gathering and figuring out what I want to do for my starter house. Are you ready for the reveal? This is my little house. Yeah, very little. I actually use copycat panels so that we can make it actually look even smaller. And I need to add some like windows and things, of course, but this is the little starter house structure. And then on the inside, we're going to have a press and a mixer. And then right here, we are going to put a tiny little elevator. And no, it's not really big enough to put an elevator in there with all this going on, but I'm going to get this guy powered up. I am going to do an underground windmill to just hide the power entirely. The windmill bearing is quite easy, just slab, stone, and shaft. Any stone works here. Then we also need a millstone, which requires 1 of any stone. Now this is not totally required. This is temporary, no one cares. Okay. So millstone, we need to mill some wheat. We also need to mill a fern. We also need to mill some bones. Okay, so then we can pull all that out. Milling the bones just gives you a little bit more output. Same with milling the wheat, but what we really just need is the wheat flour mixed with, for now, a water bucket to make dough with the lime dye makes us 2 slime balls. Then with those 2 slime balls, then we can add an iron sheet and an iron nugget and get super glue. So then all we have to do is add our 128 sail-like blocks, which for us is just going to be wool. You can also actually use sails, of course, but sails and wool, I think, are the only things that really count. And I'm actually doing a think here. And I am considering using this roof area as gearbox location so that we can push this shaft over into this corner. And I think that is worth it. That gearboxes are expensive right now. So yes, if we can fit this shaft in here, then we'll need another vertical gearbox. Yes, I think connected like it just did. Yeah, because this is this side. Okay, and that will all connect because the shaft through this. And then we have a little bit more headspace, which we can fill with barrels and such. But then also we get this out of the way, and if we just go look around the side. Yes, there is some gearboxes poking out, but not too worried about it. So annoyingly, as I'm down here trying to dig out the area that I want for the windmill, the area that I want is waterlogged cave. So I'm now placing dirt to try to unwaterlog the cave. And actually, I think we need to go down a little bit more. I could maybe just go past this cave, actually, now that I think about it. I'm glad I talked to you guys about this. This is smart. Okay, I think I have prepped the area. So we're going to fill this bottom section with wool. So yeah, basically we're just doing a little power turbine guy here, where he's going to have that glued up. Have that done first. This is going to be another wing. Glue that guy up. So that right there, and then we glue from here, not there, here to here. Okay, now all those guys are glued up. So then we just need a block in the middle. It doesn't really matter what that block is, but then these have to be super glued together. So now they're one cohesive unit. And that right there is a max power windmill that will spin under the ground. Oh, no, it's not, because I messed up, which is pretty easy. And then now he makes 8,190 USU. And is hidden away underground down here. Now our power is going out up here. So let's see if this is correct. It is. And then I also want to gear ratio it as I go up. Do I have any inside casing? Thank goodness. That would have been criminal if I didn't. So yeah, this guy is gonna get this, and we're gonna do that, and then we're just gonna do this until we get to max speed, which feels like it's coming very soon. That one's got to be max speed, but I'm gonna try to put another one on anyway. And wow, what a test! Yes. Brakes, which means that we are at max speed in the correct place. So we are good to get out of here. And boosh. Not boosh like you. Hey. But yeah, that's that. All well and done. So now we have full speed mixer, full speed press, and 3,000 SU remain. And for now, that is going to be that. I am going to just encase that up because it looks a little bit nicer. Fill in our roof and call that an episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you'd like to see more, let me know in the comments down below. I'm gonna make more for a little bit, but like if you're really interested, if you want to see more, then hit that like button, subscribe, tell me that in the comments, and I won't have the willpower to say no. So, thanks and see you.